In Hasidic circles, back in the good old days, and sometimes even today, you will find Hasidim dancing in the streets, in every Jewish neighborhood, including Moscow in front of the Kremlin. Simchas Torah was always the happiest day of the year. And yet you would find that some of the greatest Hasidim, the deepest thinkers and the deepest God-fearing, observant Jews, will, in the midst of the dancing, break down crying. The emotions are high, and once you let the emotions have their way, it's not surprising that there will be some crying as well, because there's always reason to cry. But there's something else going on here. The joy is, the Torah is rejoicing. Torah rejoices with its people, and the people rejoice with the Torah. That's the energy of the day. You either tap into it or you don't. You can't create Simchas Torah. Like you can't create the freedom that comes with Passover. Like you can't create the forgiveness that comes with Yom Kippur. A holiday means a certain energy is now present in the world. There's a certain vibration that the world is vibrating to. On Pesach, it's a vibration of freedom. On Yom Kippur, the vibration of forgiveness. God is releasing these energies into the world because that is the season, or the head of the year for that energy. The challenge is, and the commandment is, to do what it takes to tap into that energy. If you don't, you missed an opportunity. It was available and you didn't take advantage. What is available on Simchas Torah? The Torah is rejoicing with the Jew, and the Jew is rejoicing with the Torah because joy is now available. It is the vibration of the world on this day. And so it is easier to feel the joy. As people say, they're inspired, which means the energy is irresistible. And so you tap into it and you feel the joy. But a sincere servant of God will find himself thinking, I understand being happy with the Torah because it's a great gift. It's a wonderful gift. It gives me the opportunity to do things that are infinite, that are godly, that are divine, that are the purpose for creation, and so on. So I understand that. But how could the Torah rejoice with me? I have been so careless. I have been so callous. I've been so indifferent. And even when I was good, it was for selfish reasons. Why would the Torah rejoice with me? And that's what brought them to tears. So on an internal, personal, introspective level, joy of the Torah causes a humility in the person. So as we dance with the Torah, knowing that the Torah is rejoicing, it makes us reflect on, are we really the source of pleasure? Did I really increase the pleasure of the Torah, and by extension, the giver of the Torah? Or did I disappoint? In other words, if you're sincere and you are told that the Torah rejoices with your devotion to it, you can say, "Oh, that's great. Sure, yep, I have done many things to cause the Torah to rejoice." Or if you're a little more thoughtful, say, "I don't think I did that much. Certainly didn't do enough." And that's called becoming humble as a result of a gift. That is the trait of Yaakov. Esav, every time he succeeded, whatever he attained, whatever he achieved, made him more arrogant. If I'm so successful in hunting, if I'm so successful in winning people over and being a leader and moving society in the direction that I want, I must be pretty special. And therefore, I deserve more blessing, more success. Yaakov, on the other hand, every kindness, every success that he experienced humbled him. How can I expect more when I have already gotten more than I can expect? And so every kindness humbles. So the fact that Torah is rejoicing with me, that's a great compliment, but it also humbles. Did I really enough? As much as I should have, as much as I could have? So that is the humility that comes from joy, and it circles around and creates a greater joy. And that is the dancing in circles. Two people standing face to face to each other and making strange movements is not called dancing. A person by himself rolling on the floor is not called dancing. Real dance involves a circle. Traditionally, certainly, all dance was circular. And that's because a circle represents infinity. And joy is supposed to open us up to the infinite. So here's how it works. We dance because the Torah is happy, and we are willing to be the feet for the Torah so that the Torah can rejoice. And then we think Torah is rejoicing? Why? It's such a neglected thing. So many people ignore the Torah. I don't ignore it, but I disappoint it because I don't do enough. I don't. So suddenly the emotion swings away from the joy, like a circle, and the line is moving away from the starting point. And then at some place down at the bottom, it turns around and starts going back up again. Like, Torah is rejoicing with me. I'm so happy for the Torah. But really, I got to get my act together. If Torah depends on me to make it happy, I got to do a little more. I got to try a little harder. But then at some point, you come to the realization that if Torah can rejoice with you as you are, before you become better, before you improve, then the Torah is really amazing. If God can be proud of me as I am, sure, I need to get better. But if God can be proud of me as I am, then he is really amazing. He is truly infinite. He's not impressed with big things, and he does not overlook little things. And that's why he can be proud of the greatest tzaddik, and he can be proud of the willow. So now the joy is back, only this time it's deeper. And that's how the circle is completed. So when we dance in a circle, we're going through the the emotions and their opposites until they blend together and all end up back at the beginning. There's joy, there's the realization that I didn't do enough to deserve this joy or cause the joy, and yet there is joy. Despite all my failings, now I can dance even more enthusiastically than before. So let's enjoy the happiest day of the year, where even under communism, that repressed and suppressed all other expressions of Jewish life. Even then, people who had not studied the Torah, who weren't allowed to study the Torah, young students would gather in Moscow and dance in front of the synagogue in the streets, and they pretty much got away with it. Because joy is contagious. And we are told that when Mashiach comes, and the world will ask, what did the Jews do so special to deserve being taken out of their exile? The answer will be, we were happy. And joy is infinite and can break through all the barriers. So that even when our hearts lay panting on the floor, as the song goes, God expects us to be happy. Today, our hearts are not panting on the floor. Today, we have it pretty good and comfortable. So we have even more reason to rejoice. And Simchas Torah allows you to tap into a joy that isn't available the rest of the year, unless you can somehow transcend everything and reach that eighth level. So enjoy, dance like nobody is watching, and know that your dancing is not anthropomorphic, it's diopomorphic. God and the Torah want to dance, and you're dancing as if you were godly. You're imitating God, which is exactly what we're supposed to do. Question is, how do we know what God is doing so that we can imitate him? And that's what the Torah tells us. Torah says that on Tisha B'Av, God is kind of serious. On Simchas Torah, God is very happy. Certain activities make God pleased with his creation. Certain activities disappoint him. So we got to be in touch. What he hates, we should hate. What he loves, we should love. But we need to be told. What does he love? What does he hate? When is he happy? When is he serious? And that way we can stay in touch. When is he creating? And when is he resting? We know, now we can do it. Now you know the way to go. Have a wonderful, happy Yom Tov. We have a Sunday night program for VIPs that you might be interested in. It's informal, it's questions and answers, it's conversation. It's really relaxed, it's really pleasant, enjoyable, informative, and kind of community-like. It's a Sunday night program. There's a Wednesday morning program for the VIPs, and there's a Wednesday night program. All of it just conversation, casual, laid back, unscripted. So join us, take a look, click the link below, and see which of the three suits you best, and join us for some enjoyable conversation.